Hey there, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm sharing 4 super easy and quick dinner ideas to make on busy weekdays. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel and watching this video. I hope you get lots of dinner inspiration. On Mondays, I'm not home at all to eat dinner or to even cook dinner, so it was on Bill to make dinner, and Cameron has been wanting Hamburger Helper for a while now, and it finally made it to the menu. It's not something that we have in our house very often. He may be the only one that does like this, and he does ask for it from time to time. Good morning. 8 a.m. and it's a Tuesday and I have to work today at 11 and I have a doctor's appointment before work. So I'm getting dinner ready in my crock pot. I have some lasagna noodles out, some pasta sauce, some random bits of cheese. I'm gonna make crock pot lasagna, and for the first time. I mean, I've made it before and I'm cool with it, but I don't know if Bill's ever had crock pot lasagna. And lasagna is one of his favorite foods, but you know, he likes the traditional. Okay, so behind me, right there, you can see some of my groceries still sitting out. We had a really bad experience yesterday with the Walmart pickup. I don't know if I will be doing that again. For a while anyway. We ended up getting our grocery order right around 5 o'clock yesterday, and we were told it was ready at 11. So I don't know what happened there. They said they only had 2 people working, and I get it, but I'll just go into the store, I guess. So anyway, I don't have a grocery haul or put away this week because Bill actually had to pick it up because I was at work, and it was, like I said, it was a bad experience. It almost ruined our day. We had things to do. He had to pick up Cameron from school, and we were running into that time too. So yeah, I haven't gotten my groceries put away. I had to work yesterday. It's just real life. And they're still sitting on the counter. Still have my lunch bag sitting out from yesterday. Anyway, that's just how life is sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna get you down here where you can see what I'm doing. So I have my liner in my crock pot, and I'm gonna pour in a little bit of this pasta sauce into the bottom. I'm using some Hunt's garlic and herb. And I'm gonna do the whole can just because when you're doing crock pot lasagna, you want extra fluid in there. So you want to cook those noodles in the sauce. And I'm breaking up my lasagna noodles to make them fit. And it's okay if they aren't perfect or if you get some crumbles. It's all gonna cook up and eat the same. Sorry about my arm. The one thing I do like about crock pot lasagna is that the pieces are smaller, and to me that makes it a little easier to eat. It's like the one annoying thing about lasagna to me is when you get a big, huge piece of pasta and you can't get it cut up. I don't know. So in this pan I have some browned, cooked up Italian sausage and ground beef that I cooked together on the stove first. And I know I showed you a clip of that, but sometimes in editing things get deleted for whatever reason. And I'm not sure quite how that footage turned out or if I will share it. So here I'm just putting in a layer of the meat. And then in our house, we keep it pretty simple. I do have ricotta in the fridge, but I'm the only one that's going to like the ricotta cheese, so I am just gonna put that on after and kind of mix it in. So I'm using a mixture of cheeses. As you can see, I'm like down to the bottom of this bag and down about halfway with this. So I'm not above using different cheeses in my lasagna. I really like to use the sliced provolone in lasagna, but I don't have any, so we're using what we have. I don't know if I mentioned lately, I think I have maybe mentioned that the grocery stores have been a little bit wild lately. I mean, empty shelves and just things out of stock and you name it. So I'm not pushing it as far as the groceries go. I'm using what I have as often as I have and improvising, even if it means using things I wouldn't normally use or making do with what I have. So I put the cheese in and then I put some more sauce on top of that just to give the next layer of noodles something to lay on and get, you know, soak it up. So I'm gonna get this next layer of lasagna in. And to me, I think crock pot lasagna tastes just as good as oven baked, except you don't get like that browned crispiness to the cheese or the top. And all right, I've got a little bit more sauce in there, so I am going to put that on there too. Like I said, you want to give those noodles something to soak up. And then I'll do another layer of cheese or meat. And then cheese. And I didn't drain this meat. I just figured I could get around the grease in the bottom of the pan with my spatula. Whatever this thing is called. You call it a spatula or flipper. Everybody has different names for things. So I don't know if I mentioned that it's 8 a.m. right now and I'm making lasagna. Okay. So I'm gonna just do a little bit more of this. It is actually sharp cheddar cheese, so that'll be interesting. And then more mozzarella. Do another layer of, I'm gonna do just a little more sauce. Before I put in another layer of lasagna noodles. There we go. Can you see it? Maybe I should get you closer. That might work. Alright, so I've got that layer of sauce. I'm going to do another layer of sauce right on top of there. I've got a little bit left in the can, but I'm going to hang on to that just in case I need it. So I'm going back in with more meat. And I'm getting down to the bottom of this little skillet with the meat in it, so that's why I'm getting more of these drippings, but honestly, a little bit of this flavoring in there is gonna give it some more flavor. Yeah. Anyway, in the crock pot, it's a little different than the oven. The oven, you get more of those that meat would cook a little differently, and those juices and drippings would cook into your lasagna and into that cheese. But anyway, so I just kind of feel like a little bit of that, the oil from the pan isn't going to hurt anything. Plus you have like all your seasonings down in there from when you cooked the meat. You added the garlic and your onion and the Italian seasoning from the sausage. So yeah, I'm okay with it. And it's not enough to really make it super greasy. I wouldn't ever just put it in there without draining it some. So this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna do a lot more Parmesan, or what is this? Mozzarella on top. There we go. I used up that bag of cheese. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to do before I put the lid on this crock pot is hit it with some, yeah, I can't talk, it's too early. Hit it with some Italian seasoning. Just on top to make it look all pretty. And then I'm going to finish up what's left in this Parmesan cheese. As you can see, it's not much, but it's enough for just the topping. Not that it's going to bake or get crispy or anything, but it'll give it a little extra taste. I'm putting the lid on, and I'm going to cook that on high for the next hour. And then I'll turn it down to low when I leave. And now all Bill is going to have to do is make some garlic bread later, and they will have their dinner all set for them when they get home today. All right, I'm home on my lunch break. Let's see what we got going on here. I am so excited to be here and be able to eat lunch at home. I normally would take my lunch or go through the drive-thru, but I decided that I'm going to try to get home as much as I possibly can to eat lunch at home, so I don't have to spend that money or just be stuck eating a cold sandwich every day. Got butter melting on my counter. What in the heck? Okay, let's get that cleaned up. Let's see. I just threw my garlic bread into the air fryer real quick. I did take it out to let it thaw, and so I just cut off a chunk of it and threw it in my air fryer. Nobody else is home yet. Bill is still at work, and Cameron's at school, and Dawson's at work. So I'm just home by myself again. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of this Parmesan cheese on top and check on that bread. Alrighty, so I've got my garlic bread and I've got my lasagna. I'm ready to eat. Hey everyone, I'm home on my lunch break, and today we are planning on having tacos and tamales. So I am getting this taco meat cooked up, and I'm going to show you how it all comes together and probably do a voiceover, but I just wanted to pop in and show you what we're going to have for dinner on Wednesday night. We just laid out some cheese and onions and some sour cream and sauces for these tacos. We just had some hard shells that I warmed up in the air fryer, and these tamales from the crock pot. They had potential. I wouldn't say that they were our favorite because we do enjoy good, authentic Mexican food, but they were just fine in a pinch. On Thursday, I just laid out some bratwursts on a baking sheet and cooked them on one side for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then I flipped them over so that they could continue cooking on the other side. And then I added some veggies, frozen veggies, to the sheet pan. I knew that the veggies wouldn't take as long as the brats, so that is why I started them first. And I am just going to give them a little drizzle of some barbecue sauce. It was cold. It was in the refrigerator, so it was giving me a hard time coming out of the bottle. But once I got it going, I just put a little smear on each bratwurst. And then I come back and just kind of paint it on with a silicone brush just to give it a nice little glaze before putting it back in the oven. I'm going to be using up some bags of frozen veggies that were in my freezer to complete this meal. I'm using a broccoli stir fry mix, and then I'm going to just throw on some frozen Brussels sprouts along with this. Bill really enjoys the frozen Brussels sprouts, although I prefer fresh. Fresh veggies really don't do well in our house because we are pretty indecisive, and if we decide not to use something, I'm not really good about getting it into the freezer before they go bad. So a lot of the times, that's why I use frozen veggies, because they just keep longer, and I know that they're not going to go to waste and spoil before we get around to using them. So all I'm doing for this sheet pan dinner is I'm just putting the veggies along the side, and then I just am nestling those Brussels sprouts right in with the frozen stir fry mix. I knew the stir fry veggies weren't going to be that bulky, and I wasn't making rice or anything to go with them, so I just decided to throw in these Brussels sprouts. And all I'm going to do for these veggies is just sprinkle on some of my garlic, onion powder, and salt mixture that I keep in a little container next to my stove, because those are the three things I use the most, so it's easier to have it mixed together and waiting by the stove so that I can just grab it and go. It saves me a little bit of time. I don't need to grab 3 different bottles and unscrew each lid to get the garlic and the onion powder and the salt on the foods that I'm cooking. When I picked up these onion petals from Gordon Food Stores, I thought that they looked like they were broken onion rings, but I was wrong. These are more like the blooming onions that you can get at restaurants sometimes. And so they really had a nice taste to them. I just am going to put them on this basket and put them in my air fryer. And my husband really enjoys seasoned salt and I do not, so I'm just going to sprinkle some of that on these onion petals and leave a little corner for myself without any on it. We were pleasantly surprised to find that these onion petals tasted way better than a frozen onion ring. And here they are, crisped up out of the air fryer. And here are our veggies and our brats all ready to go. I just am going to give these veggies a good stir and a taste just to make sure that everything is cooked through. I myself do not care for the mushiness of a frozen Brussels sprout, but that's the way Bill likes them, and we don't judge. That's the good thing about us, is we're 2 different people and we like different things. But I did give them a taste to make sure that they were cooked all the way through. Everything else was tasty and good. The brats were all cooked through and had a nice barbecue glaze on them. So dinner is ready to be served. And here is my finished plate, and I did put a couple of those Brussels sprouts on my plate just to show Cameron that sometimes even I will eat something that's not my favorite thing, just to get my veggies in. And I have a little bit of ranch dressing on the side for those onion petals, and I thought that was really tasty, and I think I will buy these again. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. A special thank you to everyone who's been so supportive of my channel. Bye for now.